All right, how's everybody doing? Huh? Sorry I'm a minute late. I had to restart the laptop. It didn't like what we were trying to do here. On this fine Sunday morning, hot. The heat came back, mowed some grass. We got no news, so far it's just everything Florida is going to do is getting compressed into a shorter period of time. All right, let's see who's here. How we doing? Miami Sports, how we doing, buddy? Derek, yeah, Gibson to Detroit. I don't know. I don't know what Edmonton's doing other than maybe they got to try to get Stolars. But why would Toronto want to give up Stolars? I don't know that Vanacek is the answer. I don't know. They got to upgrade a goalie to keep McDavid happy. So I don't know what they're doing. Hey, David, how you doing, bud? Leafs drafted all big guys regardless of what positional need. Yeah. Hey, Gators, Tim, how you doing, bud? I think Marchand's going to sign. I don't know so much about Ekblad, but I have a good feeling about Marchand. I think Ekblad just might walk. David says, that's part of who I am at this point. Ekblad said when asked about staying with the Panthers, we spent 11 years here, and that's more than I've spent in any home or city in my life, so it's home. Right. Well, we'll see. I wish they would make up their mind already. Hey, Simon. Bex, how we doing? I know we're waiting. Can I have my Samoskevich extension, please, Bill? Dave says, these are the best few months I've ever had in my career. Martian said, it's an incredible group down here. I've loved every second of it, and hopefully it can continue. Exactly. Gator says, it's not up to number 5. It's up to Zito, and Aaron is not his guy. He was replaced by Jones, who was Zito's guy. I mean, I think they've offered Aaron a contract. They're trying to keep him. We'll find out all the details of all of that, obviously, Tuesday. I just wonder how the process is going to go in the event that I think Brad's going to sign. I think we're going to have Marchand sign beforehand. I just wonder if Aaron will get his offers and then give Zito an opportunity to make it, to up his offer. Miami sucks, right? Hold on a second. I gotta go turn my air conditioning on. Oh, it's too hot to have this sucker off. This room is like a sauna. It could be freezing in here from the air conditioning being on all day. 10 minutes with the air off, and it's just sun beats down on because there's no shade here in this part of the house. Exactly, David. Hey, Cade, Ted, my completely I have no inside sources. I have no information. My gut tells me we're going to sign Marchand and probably move on from Ekblad. Now, the thing with that is that if you do sign Marchand and move on from Ekblad, depending on what you're going to do to replace him on the roster, that's what's going to decide whether or not we have to trade Rodriguez or not. Hey, Derek. Yeah, if they keep Skinner and Picard, McDavid is out. That would be my guess as well. What do I think the other teams are going to do, Simon? Did you guys hear about this thing Elliot Freeman said where, there's this whole possible trade with Vegas and Marner, and he is inferring, he is throwing it out there that if Vegas doesn't trade for Marner, that the Leafs might go after Vegas for tampering. So we have an interesting situation to watch for the next couple of days there. I mean, if you're Toronto, I mean, if you can get anything out of Marner from Vegas, you just take it at this point. He's gone. Guitar Crow says, well, I saw that tweet. I mean, what's amazing is basically one of the NHL writers can tweet something that's just completely, I think it was Pierre. He says, while we wait for the Marchand decision, we know that the Leafs in Boston would like to talk to Marchand if he doesn't re-sign in Florida. And then people think, and then it goes through the game of telephone. And before you know it, if you didn't see the original tweet, you got people tweeting that Pierre said Boston's going to sign Marchand. It's just, it's crazy to watch things go from tweet to tweet to tweet and how the narrative can change when nobody knows much of anything. Colby, I haven't heard about the Isaac Howard situation. No, that I have not heard about. Vincent, yeah, you already missed hockey. Yeah, I know, right? Wait till football. Football is so much better, Vincent. Yeah, the dream you had a Utah-Florida Cup finals next year or the year after. Boy, next year would be crazy for Utah. David, I can turn off air conditioners. Well, I got window units. So, Simon, on the weekends in the summer, I don't go fishing because you end up with people down there. Everybody puts their boats in and puts their jet skis in. I stay away from down there during the weekends in the summer. It's just not worth it. I'll go out there Monday and be by myself. And it's 4th of July week. You got a lot of people coming in here to, where I live is like where people vacation. You know what I mean? Hey, Colin. Kate says, if Ekblad goes, chances are he won't be gone forever. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Derek, I'd say Florida-Vegas rematch, but if Vegas gets Marner, I'd count them out. Could we get a Colorado-Florida rematch? That's possible. Yeah. That one's possible. But go for the Dallas would be an interesting thing. But if Edmonton was going to move on and trade McDavid, I don't think they'd trade him to the Western Conference, right? Yeah, I just don't know how much I trust Minnesota. Absolute Real says, the funniest outcome for neutral fans is Toronto gets nothing from Marner and Vegas loses a draft pick for tampering, right? So what's it going to take to re-sign Ekblad or Marchand? Well, I think 6 and 5. 6 for Ekblad, 5 for Marchand. I mean, that should do it, right? But the problem with that then is even if you trade Rodriguez, you'd have to trade Rodriguez and Boquist to have money to sign Samoskevich, a 4C, and your 13th forward and your 7th defenseman. You would have to trade both Rodriguez and Boquist. I don't know. And I think that's the issue here is that now the bigger picture there, of course, is that you don't want to lose both, right? So this is where it gets tough because if you're offering Ekblad 6 and you're offering Marchand 5 or 4, let's say you're offering Marchand 4 and Ekblad 6 because if Ekblad takes the 6, then you can only give Marchand the 4. Well, if Ekblad says no, then you can go back to Marchand and be like, we'll give you 5. Like if 4 is no good, we can give you 5 now. So I think that's where Zito's stuck is in trying to sort through what these guys are going to say yes to. And then you most likely got Sam Iskevich over there in the corner just waiting to hear, you know, was my picture profile always with this green tint? You talking to me, Vincent? Did something change? Kay says still holding out for an unlikely Calgary, Florida rematch or matchup. Yeah. That could be a while off, right? Yeah, exactly, David. Yeah, Martian said he's glad he doesn't have to worry about getting hit by Bennett anymore. If he goes to Toronto, Bennett will hit him even harder. It's a good point, right? No, the Wings have not made the playoffs while this channel's been around. That is the truth. That is the truth. So Simon, it's like a big Jenga pile. One thing completely affects the other, completely affects the other. There's like a million different scenarios. I mean, we could end up in a scenario trading Rodriguez and Boquist just for a player to replace Ekblad, right? Like, would Calgary take Rodriguez, Boquist, and a pick for Anderson? Yeah, the Wild are just a mid-franchise, always in the middle, not enough to get to the overall number one pick. Hey, Key Mashalot, the pasta rumors, there's a better chance of the Panthers calling me up and asking me to be the official YouTuber of the team and closing their YouTube channel than there is of us getting pasta. That's my take on it. Like, I'll be president before we trade the what we would have to trade to get pasta. It just makes so little sense. It's hysterical. Vincent says Marchand gets over a $20 million deal. I don't think it'll be spread over 5 years or more, so let's assume his average starts with 5. I mean, we have the money, no problem. One of those guys we should be able to pay, right? But I think the decision just comes down to Ekblad. You know, here's what we can give you to try to keep everything together, Aaron. Like, what, you know, Zito's going to look at this like you can have Aaron and no Marchand, or you can have Aaron and Marchand but no Rodriguez, or you could have Marchand and whoever. A lot of it depends on who they're looking at in terms of who would be the replacement for, you know, who would be the replacement, right? So Jones is the Ekblad replacement. So now you need a second pair guy for Mikkola. So if Zito feels like the team is going to be better with Forsling, Jones, new guy, and Mikkola, then you just don't want to overpay for Ekblad, even though there's all of the locker room stuff and that type of deal that does play into that. But you just paid $8 million to Bennett for that reason as well. You know? Dave said the more you make, the more you spend. That's the truth if you're married, man. That's 100% for true. Kazuma says these guys already made pretty good money. If it would suck if they leave because of an extra $1 million or $2 million a year. I mean, how much money do you need? So I get what Kazuma is saying. Now, it's not my money, right? But now look at Forsling. I don't think anybody would argue that Ekblad's worth more than Forsling. Forsling did not have much of a big contract before. It was a small deal. And now he he had one shot at a big contract, and he took what he took, which is a ridiculous discount. Now, Ekblad's been making $7.5 million for how many years? How long was that contract? So it's not like Bennett, who was getting 4, or Forsling, who was not getting mainly anything. It's not like Ekblad hasn't been getting paid. So I think under that circumstance, yeah, if you're going to leave over the extra $1 million when you've already been making 7.5 all these years, you either want to stay or you don't. I mean, Forsling is the perfect example, and I'm not saying everybody should do that, but how if you're Ekblad, do you demand to be paid more than Forsling? Absolute says if Ekblad leaves, Kulikov is the new guy for Mikkola. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You could possibly get away with that in the regular season, but Kulikov is no youngster. And I just don't think you're going to want to put – I mean, Jones was eating a lot of minutes on that second pair. You would have to fix that spot come trade deadline. You can get away with Kulikov on the second pair during the regular season, but you're going to burn him into the ground with all those minutes. He's not a young guy, 34, 35. Vincent said they've had no conversation with Ekblad for a while, so they were prepared to let him go. And Zito said they have a plan B. Yeah. I mean, I hate to see Ekblad go, but if you can afford to pay Marchand, keep Rodriguez, and somehow get like Jokiharju or Fabro to be next to Mikkola, if you can do that and give Samoskevich and Tarasov their little bump in pay, I would be okay with that. I hate to see Ekblad go, but you can't start having to lose 2 or 3 players just to keep that one, in my opinion, anyway. Right. Zito says he has plan B and C, and if plan A guys wait too long, when he does move on to B and C and risk losing those guys, time is of the essence on Brad and Eck making a decision so we can move on. And that's the thing. That's exactly right. They both probably have contract offers right now based on Zito trying to get both guys, right? So if Ekblad says no, Marchand might be able to say, can I get another $500,000? Can I get another $1 million? And we might have it. So somebody's got to, I don't, and that might be what Marchand is waiting for. Marchand might be saying, I'll take 4.5 if it's going to mean Ekblad can stay. But if Ekblad leaves, I want 5.5. You follow what I'm saying? That might not be the exact number, but that's the idea. Right, yeah, cool. I mean, Kulikov can play on that second pair. He can fill in, but I wouldn't want to go a full season. He's fantastic on the bottom pair, but he's 35 by next year, I think. Simon, life is good today. Life is good. Kazuma says, I would understand if you make less than $2 million, but if you're going to make 4 or 5 and leave because you just wanted 7, I think that's just a bit greedy. But hey, maybe that's just me. You'd be happy with $1 million. I'll play for $50 a game, honestly. Yeah, Green says, just let them work it out because this has the possibility to create tension in the locker room. Fly guy, you think you still like Megna? I mean, he could be on the bottom pair, but you still got Balinskis. Remember, Balinskis already signed. I don't think you're going to put Megna on that second pair. You know what I mean? And look, it's possible we may end up entering the season knowing that we have to make a move with the trade deadline. We also have the possibility, we don't know about Kachuk's surgery, right? We don't know what that situation's going to bring. Because if Tkachuk needs surgery, if you trade Rodriguez to sign Marchand, now you're going to have Boquist up there with Bennett and Samoskevich. I mean, will function. Absolutely. Yeah, Kulikov in the regular season on the second pair is fine. Fine though, right? You know what I mean? Simon, I don't have the 25 champs banner just yet. I'm going to work on that today. Donna's been here this weekend. You know what I mean? I've been catching up. We met in February, and this weekend and last weekend were the first 2 weekends we've had together without hockey, and we ended up streaming Friday night because of the Bennett contract. So I've just been catching up a little bit that way. So some of this stuff I got to take care of is over the week. Vincent says Forsling signed from the place that he came out and was happy. He didn't have a career before the Panthers. Ekblad blocks you on Twitter. That says something about his ego. Yeah, he blocked me twice. He blocked me twice. He originally blocked me, and then I let that Jaws at Hall account go. I didn't even go to Twitter for like a year. And I came back with a new account. And when I tagged him in something that wasn't even mean or bad, he blocked me again. Mike says Fabro or Yoshihiro might have to play top pair. Jones will get exposed if he's next to Forsling all year. You think so? I mean, I'd be fine with Yoshihiro. I liked him. Didn't watch him a bunch, but at the Four Nations, I thought he was pretty good. I think he was making about $4 last year. But a guy like that would come for $5 million. I mean, whatever we're offering Ekblad, I'd be okay with him. Which kind of makes you puke. You don't like that idea? Well, let's just remember how many of these guys have come here and they immediately improve when they get here, right? I mean, just down the list from, especially defensively, from Montour to OEL to Schmidt, all these guys that kind of like were okay to a little bit better than okay, and immediately came here and became a lot better. So kind of like with Tarasov, you don't want to look at his numbers. You know what I mean? He says, can someone explain to me the Marner to sign with the Leafs and then trade to Vegas? Isn't that a lose for Vegas now because they have to give up player? I'm confused by that. So there's 2 reasons why that can work. First thing is, and that's what happened with Tkachuk. So the first thing is that, of course, Tkachuk had 1 more year in his deal, I believe. If Vegas makes the trade, Marner doesn't hit the open market. So you're not negotiating against other teams, right? So that's number 1. And then number 2 is for this last year, Toronto can sign Marner to 8 years because he's their own player and then trade him to Vegas. If Vegas has to go the free agent route, they can only give Marner 7 years. So the idea being Marner would be able to get that extra year, that's extra money. And they'd have to trade players to have the cap space anyway to do it. So it does in this case make a lot of sense. David, no, Samuel's with Bennett. Samuel is with Bennett. And Marshy is Lundell, Luosterainen, Marchand. Bennett and Samoskevich, that's the pair. To me, that's the pair. Because Samuel's not a 4th line guy, and you're not breaking up Lundell and Luosterainen, right? They're practically married. So to me, that's the pair. Mike says absolute cannots, Cooley on a second pair all year, and Belinskas as a regular. Yeah, I mean, not the full year. Hey, Bucks, how you doing, bud? Yeah, Chucky probably going to miss time, but so that's where Boquist or Rodriguez come into play, right? Science, do I think someone else, do I think Zeal's going to look for someone else out there as a UFA? Probably not. Oh, yeah. No, I thought you were saying RFA. It just depends on what happens. It just depends on who we sign of our own guys, right? We're going to need an extra defenseman at some point from someplace, even if it's just to improve over Belinskas at 6D. Hey, go. Imagine we lose Ekblad and he goes to Edmonton and pairs with Bouchard. I can't imagine him going. The Bolts got to release some players today. Interesting. Oh, the chat went too fast. I missed something here. If Ekblad leaves, put Erod Lundell at 1C and Barkov as top pair defenseman with Forsling. Tampa got $5.4 million now. Gotcha. Yeah, they moved some. Okay. G says, so could we do the same with Ekblad, sign and trade for a little bit lesser D-man and a pick or something? We could technically, but it doesn't seem like. I mean, Marner's more of a hot commodity than Ekblad's going to be. Ekblad is in a little bit of a different position. I think Marner, people want him and they're willing to overpay. I think with Ekblad, there's teams that would like him, but with his injury history, I think teams are a little bit hesitant to overpay. Maybe Tampa gets Ek for $5 million now. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? I mean, if he left for $5 million, I'm sure we're offering him $6 million. That would be my guess, since we're offering him $6 million and Marchand $4 million with term. That would be my guess. That's the only way you can fill out the roster, by trading Rodriguez. Hey, thank you, Zach. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated, bud. Thoughts on the pasta rumor? The pasta rumor, I put out a video about this yesterday. The pasta rumor is a completely fake thing from a guy in the Czech Republic that covers soccer. It's completely fake. Things this time of the year, they get tweeted out and people just run with it, and before you know it, it's just crazy. The amount of rumors. Twitter is just an absolute cesspool of rumors right now. David says, Samo and Bennett a great pair, but there must be a reason Samo not trust enough to play a lot in the playoffs. I figure it's got to be his defense. It could also be him not being strong enough to not get knocked off the puck as much. It might have been more about puck possession than anything else, which I think a summer of training will solve that. I believe that they're fully committed to Sam Miskevich in that spot. Green Loogie says, pretty sure I read a smidgen from Kachuk. They want me to do surgery, but I'm waiting. It'll be a busy summer, lots to be excited about. Probably do surgery later. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know why they don't just do the surgery and have him out for the full year and then sign everybody. Like, just to troll the league. I mean, it would just be a thing of beauty. But then you still have to, pay those contracts more than the 1 year. You know what I mean? Exactly. I forget Martian and Ekblad. We're clearly getting Marner and Pasta. GE, yeah. I don't know where he's going to want to go. I mean, I suppose Tampa would be a possibility. How much of a need? How much of a need is Ekblad there? Yeah, exactly, Zach. We don't want Pasta anyway. It doesn't fit in any way, shape, or form. Like if it was something stupid, right? If I mean it ain't never gonna happen. But like if you were gonna give like Pasta for Rodriguez and Bolquist at 50 and Pasta's 50% retained, like, okay, yeah, we'll find a spot for him. You know what I mean? But the whole thing is it was the same guy said that Bennett was going to Boston and Marchand was going to Toronto. So Absolute says Mackey going to be thicker than Tua was in 23. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Mackey next season. David says, I figured a regular season with Sasha would have proven its defense, but if it's just strength thing, there's a lot of gyms down there. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't really worried so much about, I mean, Sam Miskevich's defense in terms of coming back on the play and all of that, I was fine with that. His biggest weakness, in my opinion, was getting along the boards and losing the puck and not being able to win the puck battles. I think for me, that was his biggest weakness. And in the playoffs, that could be the difference between winning and losing a game. And we had Rodriguez and Bolquist just sitting there. So my assumption would be the plan is this upcoming year to be like, Mackey, here you go. It's, you know what I mean? No more fooling around. You gotta pull it off. Oh yeah, you see them all. You see all the gyms on all the time on your way to the buffet. I know, Mike, right? Zito did not win GM of the year. I know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Michael, yeah, Mackey's just a kid. He doesn't have his grown. Remember how small Owen Tippett was when he came here? I mean, he wasn't like Borgstrom skinny, but he was a little scrawny. And now he's like a moose on skates. No, I get it, man. Has there ever been a bigger travesty than Zito not winning GM of the Year award for three straight years? It just makes a mockery of the award. You know, it just makes it completely invaluable. And now he'll win it next year, right? It's just absurd. Look, not only did he not win, but 12 people didn't even put him on their ballot for first, second, or third place. There were 12 people that thought he didn't even deserve first, second, or third place. We're getting there, Bucks. Craig says Mackey should take some MMA lessons. He'd be a more skilled Lomberg. He's got that edge to him. Gavrikov is the name I've seen bantered around a couple of times, Thomas. It's just everything depends on, it's just one big Jenga pile, right? If Ekblad says yes, then we're not in the market for a defenseman. And now we have to decide Marchand or Rodriguez, right? But I have a feeling if Ekblad says yes, Marchand says yes. I think that's the way that this could go. I think Marchand's likely to say yes either way. Because if we don't sign Ekblad, I think Zito will make sure Marchand gets enough money to stay. Yeah, we're going to be busy. Well, I don't know how busy the team's going to be, Simon. Dave says it's like in 47, Ted Williams won the Triple Crown, batting over 400, and didn't win the MVP. Yeah. Can Eck and Brad agents be in the same room and they go back and forth with numbers until they reach a comfortable number? I mean, maybe. You know, I mean, Ekblad here, I mean, you look at what Chychrun got. I think what do you get, 9.5? Like if you're Ekblad, if we're offering him 6, and he sees Chychrun got it 9.5. So if he's going to short himself $3.5 million for 6 years, and you're talking about $20 million difference, right? That's not chump change. Exactly, Kate. They're bitter, yeah. The Cinema says if Zito can't find a way to keep Ekblad and Marchand while also signing Marner and Pasta, clearly not GM of the year. Michael, there's the guy that I like. There's 2 guys that are available that people seem to like. Mine is Yoki Haru. The other guy is Dante Fabro. There's some innuendo that maybe Rasmus Anderson is available through trade. But I would think that if we could get Yoki Haru or Fabro, that might be the way to go. Question's going to be how much money they're going to have to get paid. Are we still going to have to trade Rodriguez to do it? Kazuma says there was a theory those 12 people didn't think he deserved it because of the state tax thing, yet they voted for someone with the same advantage. Yeah. Vincent says Chychrun had 20 goals and he can skate. No argument. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I mean, when you look at what's out there, if you're looking at it from, I got my wrong glasses on. Boy, I got my old glasses on. They were a lot stronger. Free agent. Well, we'll just come here and look at, we're Sport Track. Okay. When you look at the free agent defensemen and then the right-handed defensemen that are available, Brent Burns, who's my age, and then Ekblad is 29. Jeff Petrie is 37. Bouchard. So Bouchard's the youngest right-handed guy left after Ekblad, and then you've got David Savard, Cody Ceci, and then Yoki Haru is 26. So the right-hand defenseman market's just, it's weak. It's not very strong because honestly, you could argue out of that group, like if you're a team that needs a right-hander, and you got your choice of Burns, Ekblad, Petrie, Bouchard, Savard, Ceci. I mean, honestly, well, who are you gonna pick? You know what I mean? Absolute says Burns could maybe be a 1-year replacement for Schmidt if he's willing to take. I mean, Burns was he was making $8 million. So is he going to take a $7 million pay cut? Right? David. Well, yeah, I mean, the Culpepper thing, I've told that story. The Dolphins hired 3 independent doctors to look at the films, and all 3 of them highly suggested that the Dolphins don't take Drew Brees. They all said his shoulder was trash. Yeah, Burns is 40. You like CC Thomas? I like Yoki Haru. David, yeah, oops, right. 3. Yeah, Burns is 155, exactly. Yeah. Exactly, real. Clearly losing to the Oilers twice in a row and needing to fire your coach is more impressive than going to 3 finals and winning 2 cups in a row against the Oilers. Exactly. Hungry. Yeah, I mentioned it. I mentioned it, talking about the Leafs trying to blackmail Vegas into a sign and trade for Marner. I mean, if you're Toronto at this point, they're just trying to get more out of that deal. But Vegas has to clear space anyway. But they're probably trying to clear out the trash, so to speak, you know? Wesley, yeah, the Leafs Nation page reports that, and the Boston Nation page reports that a deal is done with them. And all the reporting right now, if you don't hear it from LeBron, Friedman, and maybe two other people, it's garbage. I have notifications on my phone from 2 days ago that said Bennett signed with Boston. My brother, a couple people sent me, hey, is this story true? And I mean, they literally are just putting out fake stories for clicks. It's obscene this time of year. I don't trust anything Biz retweets either. Biz is consistently wrong about those things. He doesn't care about his reputation about that stuff. He's a caricature. If Biz retweeted it, to me, that gives him more credence that it's fake. People, Real says people don't want to hear, but keeping Ekblad is more important than keeping Marchand. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, maybe. But no, I'd love to keep Marchand. Don't get me wrong. But if you keep Ekblad and you start the year with Rodriguez in that third line, I'm okay with it. Right? Yeah, there's a reason those Biz Idiot shirts exist, right? David, yeah. There was some rumor a couple years ago. It was 2 or 3 years ago. It was a rumor that he was in on, that we were trading Barkov. I think it was before Maurice and everything got here. He had a whole thing where we were trading Barkov. I think that's what it was. Yeah, no thanks, Thomas. You said, what about trading Carter or Nerod for Pasta? Why would we do that? Right? Why would we do that? That would be like trading your own kids for somebody else's kids. It just don't make any sense. Yeah, we'll throw in Bob and Sasha as well. Yeah, now the Corey Perry thing. Yeah, Edmonton's got to get a goalie. To me, they got to get a goalie to keep McDavid happy. And they didn't get Gibson. So I don't know what they're doing. The free agent goalie market, I mean, I could probably get a minimum wage contract as a free agent goalie. The free agent goalie market is not spectacular. Thomas, you had a moment. What's the idea you got, man? Hungry, yeah. In a perfect world, we keep all three. No, I see, Thomas. Yeah, your moment about trading Carter and Erod. That's fine. Yeah, I get it. Real says, sign Ekblad, keep Mikla and Jones together. Oh. Find someone cheap to put with Kulikov and keep Belinskas at 7D. Yeah. Yeah. You can find someone cheap to put with Kulikov. You could force Schmidt to stay. Hungry. I think Boston has accepted their fate. Yeah, I saw that report there about I listened to what Friedman said about the Leafs possibly filing for tampering charges if they don't trade. I mean, technically, they're not wrong. if Vegas has been talking to Marner's agent, that's not allowed. There's rules for that. So if that happened without the Leafs' permission, it is tampering. Yeah, the GMs are think the NHL is itching to make an example out of someone. Yeah. Yes, Colin. And not just the Ekblad extension. Can we please have my Samoskevich extension? Please. Please. Like, I'm assuming that Samoschevich's extension depends on what everybody else does. Like, we can give you $1.25. Maybe we can give you $1.50. Oh, look, we can give you $1.75 now. Like, I'm hoping that he is an RFA. So what I'm hoping is that they've already talked with him, and he's like, I'm staying. I don't want to go anywhere, and just let me know what the contract's going to be when you sort everything else out. That's what I'm hoping for. But this stuff better start happening fast. It is Sunday, almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've got Ekblad, Marchand, Samoskevich. Don't forget Tarasov. Tarasov doesn't have a contract. We have to sort that through too. You don't want these guys hitting July 1st without deals. So we got a lot of work to do. Aaron, it's either yes or no, man. Like, come on, man. Just yes or no so that we know what we're doing. It's Sunday, Aaron. Go out on the boat, go on the plane, whatever you need to do, clear your head, and just figure it the F out. And then think about how pissed off your wife's going to be when you tell her you're moving. And then sign the damn contract. Yeah, Schmidt and Nosek are probably leaving, but they got to get paid, right? Sure. Punky says, problem is every team absolutely does it. So, right, yeah. Well, what he reported was that if we can't get it done, what he said was that while we wait for Marchand's decision on Florida, they know that Boston and Toronto are interested in Marchand. So that's going to be up to him. But first, we got to know about Ekblad. Guitar Code, do I think the team will ever build a new arena or a Sunrise Now Sacred Ground? I mean, at some point, it will get too old, right? Unless you're just going to completely refurbish it. I think traffic-wise, it's kind of in a decent spot, you know? I don't know where they'd move it to because it's a big difference between trying to go west that time of the day versus trying to go east. I guess going east might be easier until you get to I-95. I haven't been down there in so long. I wouldn't know. How would Toronto fans treat Marchand or Bennett, right? Well, and that's the thing. Is like Marchand going to Toronto, just like, but he already went to the Panthers, so you can't say it's like going into the enemy's den because he already went to the Panthers, right? Simon, do I have any stories about a suit who used to do the podcast? Are you talking about Stu? Are you talking about the guy Stu I used to do the shows with? Miami, good question. Does the new CBA help the Panthers or hurt the Panthers? They made some interesting changes. I got to make a video once everything calms down here. They're getting rid of the 8 years. The LTIR thing is going away. but there was something else. They made, trades. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but one of the things in the CBA is that you're no longer going to basically have retention from a third party in a trade. Something about like the retention can't occur until 75 regular season days later or something to that effect, basically making it almost impossible for a team to be the third team in a trade just to retain somebody's salary. They're getting rid. I mean, like the players didn't get a whole lot in this new agreement. That's for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, Aaron, relax with some PEDs and then sign the damn contract. Yeah. Oh, Wesley, I can't stream today until Marchand is signed. I will go live again when stuff happens. But we're gonna be live like all day Monday, all day Tuesday. So I gotta be not live when I have the opportunity. Nothing's happening right now. So plus, if I'm not live, then the stuff will happen. If I stay live, it won't happen. I thought for sure something was going to happen this morning. So I was mowing grass, and nothing happened. Capital, no, they didn't. No, it's YouTube, right? Yeah, I mean Zito's confident. It's up to Ekblad. Come on, Aaron. Yeah, exactly, David. They tore down Yankee Stadium. They tore down the Orange Bowl. GE, so let's say it's actually Ekblad who stays. If Ekblad stays, the Marchand replacement is Rodriguez. Because he's already signed. The only reason that you would be moving Rodriguez would be to sign Marchand. So, and honestly, if that happens, I'm okay with it because especially if Kachuk is out, that's where Rodriguez will come into play, and then you'd probably have Boquist next to Lundell and Luosterainen. I don't think they go out and get anybody. Well, they could, but they'd have to move Rodriguez. So, yeah. Top post on Leafs Reddit, why isn't there more interested in Nate Schmidt? I mean, Nate's welcome back at $1 million a year, that's for sure. David, yeah, it was a swamp. Yep, I used to go fishing in that area. Michael, yeah, Sunrise is a good location. There's not much room for an arena, right? Yeah, it would kind of suck watching OEL and Schmidt as a pair. That's right. Yeah, that's true. Can't go over the cap in the playoffs. Now, are they going to have a different cap for the playoffs, or is it going to be the same regular season cap? Oh, Hungry says you can't retrade a player that has retained salary for 75 days. Okay. I saw something on Twitter that explained it a little bit differently than that. You can't retrade a player. Okay, so the second team would actually have to keep him because I think it was 75 regular season days. So, like, the middle team would actually have to keep the player for 75 days and then trade him again to finish the deal. Yeah, that pretty much ends that, right? Can I put a flag in the dryer to get the fold lines out? Maybe. Yeah, I agree with Derek. Iron it. Yeah. CB says, let me get this straight. Toronto is blackmailing us publicly that if we don't give them what they want and we go ahead and sign Marner in free agency, they will try to get the NHL to go after us. Yes. Yes, that's you are correct. Now, here's the thing, though. The only way Vegas can afford, and this is probably what's pissing Toronto off, The only way that Vegas can afford Marner is to move players. So Toronto's attitude must be, then give us the players and we'll give you Marner. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy how that might work out. Yeah, you camped right off Alligator Alley. Yeah, 27. Yep. G says, but I would personally move Rodriguez even if Marchand doesn't stay. Sam Miskevich is coming up either way. Well, Samo's going to be Samo's on that left spot next to Bennett. Rodriguez is Kachuk insurance and third line winger. So I don't think you move Rodriguez if Marchand goes. I just don't see the need to do it. Because if Kachuk's going to be out, then you just move Rodriguez up and you have Boquist, right? And then you just bring up an AHL guy, which I'm surprised wasn't Sordiff. Them trading Sordiff kind of made me think that they were signing Marchand. But it also might mean Chuck's not going to get surgery. Because Sordiff was a guy I thought would have got some playing time if Chucky was out or if Marchand wasn't signed. I was obviously wrong. Yeah, no gators in your swamp, just turtle brand gators. Presumably says, Joss, even if Marchand or Ekblad go to a Canadian team for more, don't they lose more due to high taxes? Well, yeah. I mean, if we offered Ekblad 6 and he went to Toronto for 9, he left for about $1 million a year. So that's the other thing is where would he go? Does he want to go to Boston? Where would he want to go? Tampa? Tampa would have to clear some space. But does Ekblad fix Tampa? I don't think so. Kaplan says it's tough. I'd rather keep Marchand because I feel like we can find another Jones at the deadline. Maybe. Remember, Jones came with term, right? Funky says, isn't Vegas pretty aggressively shopping Carlson? Yeah, but I would assume that Toronto's not interested, right? Yeah, Simon. So I don't have any stories about Stu because we are no longer friends. That's why we stopped doing those shows together. So he has his life. I haven't spoken to him since those years ago. Put some Botox on the flag. Seems to work for older chicks. David. The role of Trey today will be played by David. I'd love that, absolutely. He says, what if Ekblad and Marchand are already signed and they're just trolling to let Leaf fans keep hoping they get both? That would track too, right? I mean, we should be getting something. Thomas says, do I think Samo and Erod both in the lineup make the team small? I mean, I don't think we'd roll that way in the playoffs. Rodriguez plays like a bigger player, though. You know what I mean? I mean, he doesn't get bogged down. CB, so Sam Miskevich is offer sheet ineligible. We don't have Sam Miskevich because he's only played 1 year at the NHL level. He's offer sheet ineligible. We just learned that here about a month ago. Somebody came and told us because we were worried about that ourselves. But luckily, we don't have to worry about that right now. Tipsy also I heard what may keep Marshy from re-signing in Florida is wait. You said also I heard what may keep Marshy from re-signing in Florida, but then there's nothing. You said don't know if it's true, if it makes sense. There's a missing comment there, Tipsy. Absolutely says we had to give up Spencer to get Jones, right? Yeah, well, we have to get up. That's a good point. Craig, no, Chucky. You think Chucky already got the surgery as soon as a few days after getting hurt? He said after the playoffs, he said after the finals that he's 50-50 on needing surgery. Some people said he was going to Germany. I would assume getting stem cell treatments. But he did get better as the playoffs went on, that's for sure. So tomorrow, right now, the schedule is a noon stream tomorrow. And I'm sure at some point we're going to be live other than that, because there's no way that nothing is going to happen for us before Tuesday. So I would just, whenever something happens, we're going to go live. But then Tuesday, Tuesday we'll be live. I've got to get with Kyle. Obviously, him and I are going to be switching off and on because that's going to be a long stream. But Tuesday we'll be live as, excuse me, as long as we can. Same thing on Wednesday. Oh, it's Jason Todd. All right, thanks, bud. Yeah, man, the handles, it's crazy, right? Hey, I'm a Preds fans here. Hope our tough years turn out to be worth it just like yours did. Finally crawling out of your depression hole to start carrying out NHL news again. Hey, look, I mean, I'll be straight with you. Preds did good a couple years ago. And at the beginning of this year, with the changes that they made, in my season preview, I picked Florida to repeat. I did pick the Panthers to repeat, but I also picked us to be playing against the Preds in the finals. I thought you guys had it. I thought you guys had it, man. And then not so much. That's got to be rough. Fly guy. I wish that would be the case. I'd love to have Nosek back. Just tell Declan and Martian they won't have to pay taxes if they stay. I heard that's how it works. I heard Chucky just calls Trump and gets the federal taxes waived too. I'm sure if we started that rumor, they would believe it. Tipsy is tipsy, right? Hey, Anthony says, with Rasmus Anderson, if we lose Ekblad, but we signed Marchand, do we have enough capital for him? And could we do a sign-in trade? So it just depends on what Calgary wants. We'd have to clear some space. So any part of a Rasmus Anderson move would have to probably include Rodriguez. Past that, I don't know what our prospect pool, they might want somebody in our prospect pool. Don't tell Trey, but maybe they'd want Devine. They can't have Samoskevich. That's not legal. And plus that would just create a hole there anyway. If you move Rodriguez and Samoskevich, you've got holes in that forward group that you can't afford to go fix. So you'd have to go with Rodriguez, but then what we'd have to give up after that, I think we have 2 2s next year. I mean, we did just get that extra 2 for Sordiff, but I don't know. Would Rodriguez in a 2 do it for Anderson? Hey, thank you, Cuban. Thank you, bud. Thank you, bud. How do I like my pasta? With butter and apple cider vinegar and oregano and basil. Yeah, that's how I like it. Fly says, I took it as Chucky was trying to put off getting surgery so he could hit LTIR at the beginning of the season and hopefully be back for next postseason. I mean, if that happened, just sign everybody. You know what I mean? Is that right, Jason? That's interesting. She lives in Massachusetts, so if he moves to Florida, he may possibly lose the right to seeing the kid due to mass. Really? That's wild. That's wild. It's important where you live. You know what I mean? CB, it's not me. It's YouTube. I know it shows different names. It's YouTube. We've already figured this out a couple of days ago. It's a lot of channels are pissed off. It's YouTube is making these changes, and we don't have a choice. There's nothing I can do about it. And there's a lot of people that are pissed off because the handles of people we don't know. You know, unless their name is in their handle, we don't know who it is. But yeah, it happened a few days ago. YouTube is rolling it out to some channels and not on others. So the hope is that they'll either stop the rollout or give us give like the channels the option to show the names the way they were. They can ask for Anton, but they ain't getting them. That's for sure. Chicken Francais for a favorite pasta. Marinara sauce, that's not bad. Vinegar on fries, yes, I like that. Tabasco on fries, not my thing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is Chucky Chucky will want to be ready for the Olympics. I like your conspiracy, Fly. IDK, I know, man. Nothing we could do about it, right? Is Chucky in surgery now? No, we haven't heard much other than him saying it was 50-50. But he said he had a few weeks to decide. I hope they're going to announce the signings today. Yeah, in the Olympics. I mean, but, you know, if Chucky didn't get hurt in the Olympics, that helped us with his LTIR money. Weird how all that works out. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to roll for now. Go get some lunch. I got to get off because if I stay live, they won't do anything. Bill, I know you're watching. I want my damn Samoskevich extension. That's 2 days in a row now. I've asked for the Samoskevich extension. Please, let's do this. I'm tired of waiting. At least get that one done. If we get Rasmus, would I put him with Gustav and Musev up to the first? I might try Anderson with Forsling. I would probably try that first. Because we know what Jones and Forsling can do. I would want to see what Anderson, and you know, they can flip them at any point in the season. You know what I mean? So, all right, everybody. Appreciate all the love and support. Hopefully, I shall see you later with some good news. Good news, Bill. Bill, I know you're watching. All right? Samoskevich, 2x1.5. Ekblad, 6x5. Marchand, 4x4. Trey Rodriguez. And we're done. We need a 7D and a 13th forward. All right, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you in a little bit.